Good morning. It is Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and today's podcast, it's really short on the WIPs. I've only been working on the one thing, and that one thing is that pillow cushion that I've been working on to make for the blanket. And this is in puzzle yarn in Domino's colorway, which still baffles me why it's green and not black and white, but hey, whatever, right? The other thing is that I realized, when Thomas was alive and we went places and did things, I had more time to crochet because when we were in the car, I was able to crochet. They really frown on driving and crocheting at the same time. So I realized that that's kind of cut back on the amount of time that I have for crochet. I'm also involved in two very intense Bible studies that I am absolutely loving. So that does take away from the crochet time as well as working on items to put up in the shop. I do have some items that I'm ready to put up towards the end of the week, just not yet. I also have been working on a couple of concealed carry handbags that I'm going to look to put into a gun shop nearby for consignment. It's little things in the background that I've been doing and not just had a lot of time to really spend and focus on what I really want to do just for me, for fun, relaxation. But that's okay, right? It's part of life. I want to thank everyone for the birthday wishes yesterday. It was a great day. I spent the day, part of the day, of course it was Sunday, so most of the day was spent in church with church family, and I love this family. They are very loving, giving, and it's just an amazing group of people. And then Jerry and I went out to my favorite Mexican restaurant, which is Reyes Teca, here in the Lock Haven area. And, well, they found out it was my birthday. So here's a picture of what happened. What can you say? Jerry tells me the look on my face when I realized I was going to have to wear the hat. I'm so glad she didn't capture that on film, camera. But it was enjoyable, and I did enjoy it, and the fried ice cream is top notch. So if you're ever in the area of Mill Hall, Pennsylvania, and you run across Reyes Teca, or even in the State College area where they have another restaurant, by all means stop in and have some fried ice cream because it's delicious. All right, guys, that is it for this portion. Like I said, there's not a whole lot there. Just because of the way time management has been going and with things that I have ongoing, in the background of my life, that kind of thing. And of course, also doing the Swedish cleaning. The contractor did tell me that they have a small dumpster out there. They're going to be bringing out a larger dumpster so that I am more than welcome to bring everything out. I'm already paying for it, so why not? But so that I'll be able to get rid of some things that just don't have a place to go. So yeah, that's been interesting. I have been going with the mindset of, do I want to move this into my new home? Why do I want to move it into my new home? And quite frankly, a lot of it is going. Just because a lot of it is things that meant something to Thomas. And, a lot of things like around his gaming, that kind of stuff. I am looking to sell those things, so there's always that, trying to meet up and do all that kind of stuff too to get those things out. Yeah, that's it. All right. like I said, it's going to be a short one. We're going to move on to the what in Tarnation. And we'll do the devotional in a second too as well. Now, this kind of makes me wonder about people that will vandalize zoos. Why? What is wrong with you? All right, owl escapes from Central Park Zoo after his exhibit was vandalized. An owl that escaped from the Central Park Zoo after his exhibit was vandalized has been on the loose ever since, as park rangers and even police officers were mobilized to search for the bird of prey. Flaco, a Eurasian eagle owl, went missing from his exhibit around 8:30 p.m. Thursday after the stainless steel mesh of the enclosure was cut, the Central Park Zoo said in a statement Friday. And I've not seen any follow-up on it or not as of yet. A team was mobilized to search for the bird. Citizens and police spotted the owl on a sidewalk on 5th Avenue, but it flew off, zoo officials said. The office of New York City Mayor Eric Adams shared a photo of officers with the New York Police Department standing guard in an area of the sidewalk cordoned off with police tape as Flaco looked at bystanders. Well, that was a hoot. We tried to help this little wise guy, but he had enough of his growing audience and flew off, the NYPD's 19th Precinct said in a post on Twitter. Rangers be on the lookout. He was last seen flying south on 5th Avenue. Zoo staff later located the owl perched in a tree near the zoo and stayed with it throughout the night. At sunrise this morning, the owl flew from the tree on 5th Avenue and entered Central Park, where we continue to have visual contact with the bird. Our focus and effort at this time is a safe recovery of the owl. Rangers with the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation shared a photo of Flaco perched in a tree in Hallett Sanctuary, a nature preserve at the southeast corner of Central Park, on Friday morning. We ask that park goers give space so that he can be rescued. Flaco first arrived at the Central Park Zoo in 2010 and is one of the largest species of owl. Bird watchers across the Big Apple have since tried to snag photos of the escaped owl, many of which have been shared by the account Manhattan Bird Alert. So check that out. Now, apparently the Japanese zoo had a very strange mystery on their hands. Japanese zoo solves mystery of isolated gibbon's pregnancy. A Japanese zoo said it has solved the mystery of how a gibbon became pregnant while living in isolation, and a tiny hole in a board is to blame. Zookeepers, oh boy, here we go, funny name, Kujikushima Zoo and Botanical Garden, Morikirara, in Sasebo City, Nagasaki Prefecture, those are some large words, said they were surprised when a Lar gibbon named Momo gave birth in February of 2021, as the ape had been living in her own enclosure without any males present. Officials said Momo was protective of her offspring, so it was nearly 2 years before they were able to collect enough stool and excrement samples from the mother and baby to perform DNA tests. The father of the male baby was found to be Itu, a 34-year-old agile gibbon. Zookeepers said the two apes were never on display together, but they discovered that the partition between Momo's exhibit and the backyard where Itu was kept while off display had a perforated board with holes about 9 millimeters in diameter. That's 0.35 inches. 0.35 inches. That's tiny. That's less than half an inch diameter. Officials said they now believe the apes managed to mate through one of the holes. The board has now been replaced by a solid steel plate. Officials said they are now planning to attempt attempt to introduce Itu and Momo officially so they and their child can live as a family. Where there's a will, there's a way. CPB agents discover dolphin skull in a bag at Detroit Metropolitan Airport. The United States Custom and Border Protection Specialist at Detroit Metropolitan Airport discovered a dolphin skull in an unaccompanied bag. This bag was separated from its owner during transit and was found to contain the skull when it was put through an X-ray machine. An examination by the CPB and Fish and Wildlife Service determined that the skull belonged to a young dolphin. The possession of items made from certain animals is prohibited by United States law. We take wildlife smuggling seriously and work closely with our federal partners at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to protect wildlife and their habitats. The skull was turned over to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service Office of Law Enforcement, whose experts will investigate the incident. You gotta love these kind of fundraisers that happen every year around Valentine's Day, because I find them quite humorous. But it's a great way to raise money for shelters. Ohio Animal Shelter will name a litter box after your ex. An animal shelter in Hamilton, Ohio is holding a unique fundraiser as a lead up to Valentine's Day. The Animal Friends Humane Society said Wednesday it will name a cat litter box after an ex-romantic partner. The gesture will cost $5 per box, while the promotion will run until February the 12th, so you have a few more days to get in on it. The shelter will then reveal all the sponsored litter boxes, names included, in a Facebook post on Valentine's Day. Don't spend this Valentine's Day in the dumps. Instead, cheer yourself up while making a difference for animals in need, reads the promotion on the Society's webpage. For a $5 donation, we will write your ex's name in a litter box and give it to the cats to let them do what they do best. The fundraiser is far from the only somewhat strange animal-related promotion tied to the love-themed holiday. Several zoos offer this promotion, allowing visitors to buy a cockroach, name it after their former flame, and then have it fed to one of the institution's resident roach-eating animals, like a lizard. The payment then ensures the person is able to watch the insect get eaten. In some cases, the zoo will send a video or link of the feeding to the roach's namesake. New York's Bronx Zoo, as well as zoos in San Antonio and Toronto, run similar programs. So check your local zoos, your humane societies. Maybe they're running a program that you can do something similar. What a nice way to get a little revenge, right? Okay. This next video, I have to tell you, made my heart stop seeing the video. I can't imagine what it would feel like for that to happen. All right. Video captures scene as boulder crashes through house in Hawaii. Authorities in Honolulu are looking into a surreal incident in which a boulder smashed through the living room of a new suburban home, narrowly missing the family who had only recently moved in. Carolyn Sasaki narrowly escaped being seriously injured or killed when the 5-foot boulder came smashing through the wall of her living room in Palolo just as she was walking into the room to watch TV. KTIV 4 Island News reported, "All I heard was the boom when the glass cracked from the sliding door, so I backed up and I guessed it passed right through me," Sasaki said. The boulder smashed through the cinder block outer wall, hitting the family's car, before taking out a glass door, crossing the living room, going through another wall, and ending up in a bedroom on the second floor, according to the Honolulu Police Department. The frightening incident, which occurred just before midnight Saturday, was all captured on a security camera in the living room. I haven't watched the video. They said if I took one more step, I probably wouldn't be here, Sasaki said. The 64-year-old believes her bad leg may have saved her life. The leg means she could only walk slowly, something she believes may have actually prevented her from being in the path of the boulder when it exploded into the room. Sasaki is convinced the boulder came from excavation work at a development project on the side of the valley above her home. She says she has been pressing city leaders to stop the development. I was in fear of this happening from before, from when they started, she said. She added that for a while now she is just happy to still be alive. Her narrow escape has stiffened her resolve to get the development halted, and who can blame her? KTIV 4 News reported that the Honolulu Fire Department had received a report from another resident of a 2-foot boulder hitting a wall bordering his property. In a statement issued Tuesday, the City Planning Office said its initial investigation showed the permits for the project required an engineering slope hazard report by the developer due to the proposed excavation work, which the developer had provided. The report recommended several rockfall mitigation measures, including a 10-foot-high rockfall barrier fencing and an anchored wired mesh system to stabilize the rock slope. City officials determined that the required rockfall barrier fencing did not meet specifications in the approved building permit and said a stop work order and a notice of violation would be issued, but they didn't conclude the issue caused or allowed the boulder to damage Sasaki's home. DPP's investigation is ongoing and the city is unable to determine any wrongdoing by the developer at this time. Don Takakuchi Apuna, director of the Department of Planning and Permitting, said in a statement, "It would be irresponsible and premature to point any fingers at any particular party, landowner, or event without knowing the full detail of what has occurred. We will provide more details as they develop." City officials have notified Sasaki that she can begin emergency repairs to her house immediately. But you know, it's a good thing that she had the security camera. I mean, just for the home insurance. Could you imagine trying to prove, that happened to your home? Other than them coming out and finding the boulder in your living room? Bedroom? So, good thing people have security cameras nowadays. All right. Let's get on to today's devotional. And, of course, today's devotional comes from the book Amazing Grace. Did get this at Ollie's. Don't know if it's still available, but it's a great book. Without fear. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and when she laughs without fear of the future. This comes from Proverbs 31, verse 25 in the New Living Translation. It's natural to fear the unknown. It can be frightening not to know what's coming or how to prepare for it. But you don't have to fear the future when you know whom you trust. You can live without anxiety about what is to come, because you know that your life is in the hands of the one who controls it all. When you are in Christ, you can smile at the mystery of the future with the peaceful and carefree heart of one who knows it is secure. How do you submit your fears to God? All right, guys, that is it for today's podcast. I hope that you will remember to be kind to one another, be kind to others, yourself. Love yourself, love others, and get out there and see this big, beautiful world we live in. Even though it is still February and winter, it still has beauty within it. All right, we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.